Everybody, welcome to the Daily Digital Download for Wednesday, May 27th. What a beautiful time to be alive, huh? Let me just add the old link to the TL. Oh, no. There we go. Sometimes we just gotta make some changes to the copy. Well, it is Wednesday. We are halfway through the week already. We're almost at the end of May. We're continuing to see DeFi attacks on the rise, continuing with the trend that we witnessed in April of last month. That being said, it still is not as bad as last month in terms of the amount of hacks and the amount of money that's been stolen. Today's news has some retribution for bad actors, which we'll cover in the back half. Very excited to talk about that. But let's just kick it off with some slightly bad outlook for the Clarity Act. Clarity Act is the market structure bill here in the US, and it has been a contentious battle this year. The House version of Clarity Act last year was bipartisan, and then when it made its way to Senate this year, we saw almost immediately from Coinbase in January, February of 2026 this year, a lack of support. And the second Coinbase dog whistled that they don't support the Clarity Act, that's when the train went off the track. So TD Cowen is saying that the Clarity Act is becoming less and less likely to pass this year. Jarrett Seiberg, managing director at TD Cowen's Washington Research Group, said, "The political environment is getting worse for the Clarity Act. It is why we remain pessimistic that Clarity will become law this year." There's a lot of highlights in this article, but it's very important to highlight as to why Clarity Act is running into problems right now. And it's such a dichotomy because the Warren Walls administration was looking to be anti-crypto during their campaign in 2024. Trump ran on a pro-crypto narrative. So anybody who was fighting for their survival to work in this industry here in the US basically had to make a deal with the devil, or at the very least, examine how much of other things they care about politically they had to let fall by the wayside. And this happened to a lot of people. A lot of builders and crypto users here in the US who traditionally lean left, lean Democrat, switched sides for Trump this cycle. And what we were sold when Trump was running for office was a pro-crypto mandate. And we've seen that. The head of the CFTC, the head of the SEC, even the OCC, all of these government-related entities are pro-crypto and pro-blockchain networks. But in addition to this kind of like pro-government that we have, pro-crypto government, Trump and his family also have made it very difficult to like crypto and blockchain. The sons run a Bitcoin mining operation. The family runs World Liberty, or has strong ties to World Liberty Finance. Trump launched a meme coin days before his inauguration. So did Melania, his wife, the first lady. There's just... And it's, I forget the figure. I think it was either 1.2 or 1.6 billion dollars that has been attributed to how much money the Trump family has made off the backs of crypto. And so even if my figures aren't right, these are all the negative side effects of a pro-crypto president. The president himself is building in the blockchain and crypto space. And therefore, there's a lot of partisanal anger. Largely, the Democrats don't want to support anything that will support Trump. So, Jarrett Seiberg, in his most recent notes, basically pointed out that it's becoming politically difficult for Democrats to support the Clarity Act. One issue that was highlighted, and this is a brand new Trump problem, folks. You probably heard about it within the past week. Trump and the IRS recently settled a legal case that they have, and the settlement created a, $1.776 billion anti-weaponization fund. America was founded in 1776. What a cute little homage to this country's foundings. And the weaponization fund is aimed to compensate individuals who claim they were victims of government weaponization or lawfare. Without going too far into detail, parts of this fund is being used to compensate the January 6 rioters who stormed the Capitol after Trump lost his bid in 2020. The deal also permanently bars the IRS from auditing past tax returns of Trump, his family, and related companies. Like, wow. Let's hold our tongue. Seiberg said that we've never seen a taxpayer-funded fund like this, which seems aimed at the president's supporters. It also establishes a precedent for future presidents to sue the government and settle in a way that can be used to reward supporters. One way in which the Democrats don't want to support any bill that is pro-Trump. Another development was a recent New York Times investigative report that examined how prediction markets and crypto interests have pushed their agenda with the CFTC. Here's a second dilemma that the bill faces from Democratic support. The NYT report also highlighted ties between the Trump family and several crypto and prediction market businesses. Yet another realm in which the Trump family is getting their fingers into blockchain-related businesses. All of this, in addition to everything that the Democrats have already brought up as a problem, makes it politically difficult for any Democrat to back this bill, unless it contains conflict of interest standards that apply to the president, which it currently doesn't. So, instead of actually integrating these changes and carving out anti-presidential, anti-money earning wording for the president without any of these added into the bill, lawmakers, instead of fighting to get them added, will just kick the can down the road and delay the Clarity Act to wait it out, to see if the political controversies fade. And that's what Teflon Don does. He just waits out any problems he gets into. In fact, probably creates more problems for himself, simply because of the fact that people can't keep up with all the stuff that this guy's gotten into, all the lies that he has. It's a part of his tactic. It's a part of the chaos that he sows. But the problem here is that midterm elections are coming up in November. Politicians who are running for re-election are going to be campaigning in September and October. And so really we have until August to get this bill put forward. And each week we see a delay is another week we get closer to the deadline and less likely that we see the Clarity Act get passed this year. If the Clarity Act doesn't pass this year and the Democrats win the Congress, then it is very unlikely that in 2027 and 2028, we will see a Clarity Act as we know it today get passed. Because as we've seen with all of the problems that Democrats have with the current structure of the bill, those won't go away, and that political party will have more power. So, yeah, pretty unfortunate. I really wanted to see a bill get put through because, sure, it's great. We have a pro-crypto president right now and a pro-crypto administration, pro-blockchain administration. But what happens when the next president comes into office and they don't have a pro-crypto stance or a pro-blockchain opinion? And we go back to an administration like we had during the previous one under Biden, where there was Operation Choke Point 2.0, and our industry was under attack covertly from powerful figures in the government who were able to obfuscate who they were and how they were attacking the industry. It was a multi-pronged approach from banking regulators, from equities regulators, from politicians to be anti-crypto. And largely, they were able to do so because there were no laws that painted a clear way for blockchain and crypto to operate here in the US. And for better or worse, for all of its pros and cons, that's what Clarity Act is supposed to be. The rules of the road enshrined into law for how blockchain and crypto companies can operate here in the US, how tokens can have a path forward from being a commodity to an equity. And without that, as an industry, we put ourselves at risk for facing another anti-crypto administration, potentially. So yeah, I'm a little bummed that Clarity Act might not get passed. We have a few good years ahead of us still with pro-crypto regulators and pro-crypto policymakers, but we should really be hoping for a law, something that doesn't change with the political tides. But that being said, even if we don't get a law put into power, look around at what's going on in 2026. Who is adopting blockchain and crypto? Who is talking about it? Wall Street. Mainstream financial institutions are adopting blockchain networks. SoFi is an application, a trading and investing application, has 14.7 million users, and is rolling out its stablecoin. They're largely doing it. Well, first of all, this is the first instance of a U.S. national bank issued stablecoin embedded in a retail banking interface. So we're starting to see the convergence of banks using stablecoins to provide services that their users want and need, largely because stablecoins are a better offering than what already exists. The SoFiUSD token will launch on Ethereum and Solana, where users of the application or of the bank can buy, sell, hold, and convert SoFiUSD within the same application used for saving, spending, borrowing, and investing. SoFi is positioning its stablecoin as part of a broader effort to integrate blockchain-based settlement tools into its banking stack, spanning consumer payments, custody, and potential enterprise integrations. SoFi CEO Anthony Noto said, "At SoFi, we believe we can combine the speed and versatility of the blockchain with the trust of a bank to improve how money moves around the world. People no longer have to choose between blockchain technology and regulated banking products. With SoFi USD, we're giving our members a single place to buy, hold, and pay with digital assets and the same app they already use to save, spend, borrow, and invest." In the coming weeks, the company also plans to offer support for tokenized deposits with FDIC insurance, cross-border transfers, and a Bullish exchange integration for institutional clients. Bullish is the parent company of CoinDesk. And ARK, Cathie Wood's ARK, also has a large stake in Bullish. So, despite the fact that we were just talking negatively about the Clarity Act and what it means if we don't get a law put in for the tenure and the long standing of blockchain and crypto, I think on the equal and opposite side of the same coin, when we have banking entities like SoFi and banks and TradFi and Wall Street institutions integrating support for tokens, stablecoins, and blockchain, we are seeing crypto become a part of the fabric, the social fabric, the financial fabric of the world. And even though we might not have laws that dictate market structure, we do have banks and large financial entities with vast amounts of funding that are supporting blockchain and crypto. And if these guys are making money off of this technology and asset class, then they will be de facto supporters and they will fight for pro-crypto and pro-blockchain uses in DC at the federal government level. So we have to take the good and the bad here. And so while the bad might be that we don't get laws, the good is that we have a super entrenched and highly powerful sector, vertical, group that will be fighting to ensure the livelihood and the liveliness of blockchain and crypto because they use it for their own services. So this is kind of a silver lining where if we don't get clarity this year, we still have support from unlikely allies. In other news, Coinbase has launched Base MCP to make it easier for AI agent integration with the Base blockchain. Users can now use natural language prompts to swamp tokens, transfer funds, and otherwise interact with Base-based apps. When we hear something like natural language prompts, that basically means you can tell your agent, hey, swap 0.1 of my ETH for the equivalent value of USDC. And your agent can go and do that on your behalf using DeFi protocols via Base MCP. So now Base MCP can connect with Morpho, Banker, Moonwell, Avantis, Aerodrome, Virtuals, and Uniswap, all dexes, all places to swap tokens, which covers lending, swaps, perps, and the newest token and agent launches on Base. MCP is short for Model Context Protocol, and it's an open standard that was created by Anthropic. It's basically a simple way to connect your AI agent with stuff outside of their umbrella. It could be your Gmail account. It could be your agent or your blockchain wallet and where you trade. It could be anything really that you log into with a username and a handle. You can connect your agent to monitor that service via something like an MCP. Base notes that the protocol is going to be fully non-custodial, which means your assets and data will be SOFU. And the MCP server will never have access to users' private keys. This is just another step in the direction of blockchain becoming the de facto network for AI agents. And this is the question I've been asking a lot of guests that have come on the Smart Economy podcast recently, particularly those building in the AI space, AI blockchain convergence. When are we going to have AI wallets surpass human wallets on chain? And largely the answer is sooner than later. I want to go into security season for a little bit because we're in the thick of it. April was bad. May is just as bad. And the OpenZeppelin founder now says that he considers all of DeFi to be unsafe. Wow. Manuel Aráoz wrote that he's been advising his friends and family to exit DeFi positions, including the blue chips like Aave, MakerDAO, and Compound. He went on to say, coding agents are superhuman at finding vulnerabilities, and smart contract security is too asymmetric. Defenders need to fix every bug, while attackers just need one exploit to steal funds. And OpenZeppelin is a crypto security firm. Yikes. And look, Aráoz isn't wrong. $630 million was stolen from DeFi protocols last month, with 30 attacks and hacks registered. The worst month since February of 2025, when Bybit was hacked for $1.5 billion. And May is also continuing to see an uptick in attacks. Today's the 27th. This article was written on the 27th, or released on the 27th. And so far in May, we've seen 25 DeFi exploits, though on a much smaller scale. Varus Network was exploited for $11.6 million. Poly Network had a security breach last week where it lost nearly more than $500,000. And this is just not stopping. Security season, we are in the thick of it. Keep yourself safe. Make it difficult for you to be attacked. Figure out how to increase friction in between a malicious and bad actor who wants to separate your assets from you. It is on you to protect yourself. If you don't need to be doing if you don't need to be using DeFi protocols to squeeze out an extra percentage or two in interest, maybe evaluate staking that asset natively or exiting liquidity pools or just hodling, because it seems like nowhere is safe right now in DeFi with the amount of attacks that we're seeing that are obviously AI empowered and enabled. Excuse me. Yeah, man. Rough. That being said, and I wanna pull this up for this one. We are starting to see bad actors get prosecuted. Singapore has charged ex-Hodlnaut CEO over misleading his claims over the Terra collapse. Zhu Juntao is the former CEO of Hodlnaut, which was a crypto lending platform, and he's being charged in Singapore for misleading claims about the company's exposure to the collapse of Terra USD. Zhu instigated his employees in 2022 to post statements on Telegram and in an official email stating that Hodlnaut had no direct exposure to UST and had not suffered losses from the token's collapse. That was a lie. He also posted similar claims on his own personal X account. Hodlnaut, which once claimed to serve over 30,000 users globally, became defunct in August of 2022 amidst its own liquidity crisis. In May of 2022, when UST collapsed, Hodlnaut resulted in $189.7 million of losses for the platform. Because Zhu lied to users and to followers, he now faces up to 20 years in prison. That was a rough time, man. That was a really, really rough time. I've actually also taken a picture of this little dragon spitting out water. Fantastic that there's nobody on these steps. When I was there, it was like the middle of the day, and it is a huge tourist trap. So this photo must have been taken early in the morning. Anyways, additionally, in crime season, South Korea has arrested suspects behind the Solana meme coin CatFi in its first rug pull case under a new law. This is so cool. South Korean prosecutors have arrested or charged 5 people that were associated with a rug pull on CatFi. The Seoul Southern District Prosecutor's Office has filed charges against 2 main suspects who were taken into custody along with 3 others who were not detained. Excuse me, only 2 have been taken into custody. The release of the statement said, quote, "This marks the first time that the Virtual Asset User Protection Act has been applied to penalize a rug pull scheme, a pervasive crime in the crypto market, under fraudulent and unfair trading regulations. It's also the first legal prosecution of a crypto crime executed through a DEX, which has been in a regulatory blind spot," end quote. So what happened with CatFi is something that you have seen play out over and over and over, especially through Pump Fund and other token launch related platforms, where bad actors essentially launch a token, pump it, and then rug the users by selling all of the liquidity, and everybody who bought the token just lost all the value that they put into it. CatFi was one of these memes that launched on the scourge of cryptos platform, Pump Fund. Just, to me, the most net negative platform that has ever been launched on crypto ever, because it made it possible for anyone to launch any token super easily, and we saw so many pump and dumps in 2024 and 2025 as a result of Pump.Fund. So what ended up happening with CatFi? The primary suspect acted as a crypto market influencer. He lied. And another key suspect managed the meme coin's official channel, artificially inflating follower counts. Sounds familiar, huh? And posting announcements of false lockup plans to drive traction. All of this sounds super familiar. This is a playbook for any pump and dump. Create a fake website, create fake metrics, make it sound like this thing's going to be legit, and within 24 to 72 hours, the token is friggin' gone, man. The group then used multiple wallets to distribute tokens and conducted wash trading to conceal their control over the supply. Wow, once again, part of a playbook that gets replicated with every single pump and dump token as a result of Pump.Fund. Anybody who launched a scam token on Pump.Fund should be shaking in their boots, because this is the beginning. And this is just South Korea. Wait till the rest of the world starts having new laws like Virtual Asset User Protection Acts. I can't wait to watch all of you scammers get fucking caught and punished. And all of your information is on chain, completely auditable. The second that your identity is connected to a wallet, you're in trouble, man. And this is just the first one. So nice. The prosecutor said that CatFi's value rose 1,001-fold in 26 hours after the launch, when around 6,000 investors piled into the coin. Out of that number, 256 investors reported a combined loss of $600,000. The suspects, on the other hand, made roughly around $280,000 in profits. Wow. I hope it was worth it for the 5 of you to split that $280,000, because now y'all are going to get wrecked legally. Have fun staying poor. Enjoy your time in jail cell. The prosecutor said in the release that the prosecution remains committed to instilling a firm realization among those seeking overnight wealth through illicit methods in the virtual asset market that market manipulation will inevitably lead to total financial and personal ruin. How metal, South Korea. Love it. All right, let's end the day not talking about security season, but something positive. Ethereum and Solana treasury firms are joining the Russell indexes. The Russell indices are traded on here in New York Stock Exchange here in the US. They're long story short, if you've made it to the Russell, you're a large enough company with a large enough amount of funds to be taken seriously. That is my wording. That's the best way I can put it. And now what this means is that index investors will get indirect exposure to ETH and SOL through two companies joining the Russell indices through as they use cryptocurrencies in their treasury strategies. Sharplink is Joseph Lubin's related company that is an ETH holder, and Forward Industries, which is a SOL holder, will be joining the Russell indices on market open on June 29, in a month from now. Cool. This is now the third, I believe. This is the third company that is representing one of the blue chips. And to me, the blue chips today are Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum. The other being Strategy, of course, with Bitcoin. So, with all that said, yeah, a pretty fun space today, or live stream. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. I appreciate you. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the newsletter down at thesmarteconomist.beehive.com. And thanks for your time and energy and efforts today. I hope you learned something new. I hope it was something positive. And if it was negative, I hope you weren't bogged down too much. I will catch you guys tomorrow around the same time. I don't know. We do these in the morning, Mountain Time, midday, Eastern Time, New York Time. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a safe and beautiful and happy Wednesday, May 20th.